What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. What I got for your face balls today. This is really kind of a PSA. What I'm going to be talking about here is an extreme budget, but still good and crazy slicey knife. The knife in question is this little guy right here. This is the Kubey Coeus, C-O-E-U-S, I think is how it's spelled. You can see it's like my wife. She likes the D2. But anyway, she's going to be mad that I said that. This little guy right here is reversible deep carry pocket clip, G10 scales, stainless steel coated liners. You can get it with a coated blade or without. Comes in a bunch of different colorways. I'm going to throw links up in the description, but we're going to talk about this. It's going to be a pretty quick video. Now, first up, it's under 50 bucks. I think it's like right at $40. And so for 40 bucks, coming up on Christmas time, these things are readily available. You can get them all over the place. Like I said, I'll throw links up in the description. But this little guy right here, what makes this so good? And I'm not the biggest fan of D2, but what I am a huge fan of is cutting geometry. And this thing has that in spades. Before we get carried away, let's, I'm going to throw this out up against a couple other knives. Here is a Benchmade bug out. Put it on the white stripes so hopefully you can see it better. What else do I have laying here? Here is a PM2. Here is a Para 3. So you can see we're definitely in the Para 3 territory. Pretty similar, honestly, in overall length and shape and whatnot. Not so unlike a Para 3. So that's the size knife we're talking about. The Kubey Coeus comes in a box like this. Nothing real special. You know, these are definitely overseas made knives. But for what you're getting for $40, I think it's pretty good. And if you're looking for some Christmas gifts that are, you know, cheap and budget friendly, this thing beats the hell out of, you know, what most people carry. So, you know, if you got someone that you think might want, you know, might be interested in carrying a decent knife, it's very simple and easy. You can just slow roll it out with your thumb. Action on it is good. You can thumb flick it. You can Spidey flick it. You know, it's just a really good entry-level knife that has amazing geometry, which we're going to get into. Let's take a gander. Overall blade length, 3.154 inches in overall blade length. So you're looking, you know, right at a 3-inch cutting edge. Good size. And handle length, 4.132. You know, 3-inch cutting edge, about a 4-inch handle. 7-inch overall, or just over that. Pretty good size knife. It's going to work for most people. To get a weight on this guy, 3.5 ounces. What's not to like, right? It's just good all the way around. But where this thing really shines, so let me bring back this Para 3. I don't know if you guys, let's do this. There you go. Are you starting to get a picture here of why I say this knife is a good one? Look at how thin this blade stock is. So that's compared to a Para 3, which has been horribly mistreated by my wife. Now, the bug out's kind of a bad representation of this because the backside of the blade has a swedge on it. But it's actually thinner because of the distal taper out here towards the end of this blade than a bug out blade. Similar with the tagged out, same kind of deal. This thing's actually thinner from here out to the end, thinner blade stock. So what are we looking at blade stock? Well, up in the handle, it's basically 1/8-inch blade stock, but you can see where the plunge grind is, and it starts to thin out. It's got a pretty aggressive distal taper, but most importantly, let's look at, this is a full flat ground blade, and let's look at thickness behind the edge, 13 thousandths, and that's pretty consistent. It's actually a little thinner out here towards the tip. Yeah, well, I guess about the same. 13 thousandths right out there. So, 13 thousandths behind the edge. Not only is this going to be an extreme slicing machine, but it's also going to be really easy to sharpen. And that's, I think, the one thing that people overlook a lot is when you have thinner grinds like this, or more aggressive grinds, you can see how small that secondary bevel is. Let me just compare that to, here is a Hogue Deca. Okay, now if you look at the height of that secondary bevel, the distance from the actual apex up to that corner where the secondary grind starts, look at the difference. Let me get them both in the light. So if you look at the difference there, this knife here is about half that distance. So when you're working this on stones or on a strop or whatever, the amount of material, I mean, it's less than half of the material removal in order to sharpen this. So it's going to be way easier to maintain the edge. Plus, because it's so thin behind the edge, it's going to glide right through even when the edge maybe isn't that great. So it's still going to be an effective cutting tool purely just based on its geometry, like a paring knife is. A paring knife doesn't necessarily have to be all that sharp to do a good job at cutting fruits and vegetables and whatnot. That's where this thing is going to shine. And I just, it's comfortable in hand. The grip is going to work for just about everyone. The size is decent. It's not a big knife. And under 50 bucks, can't go wrong. So I'm going to throw a link up in the description. I'll throw a bunch of different colorways up there. Go check it out. And, pick up an actual effective cutting tool for cheap for someone for Christmas this year. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. We'll see you later. I'm out.